Hello, welcome to the 13th house. Come on in, take your shoes off, make yourselves at home, and let's get weird for a little bit, shall we? If you're new here, welcome to the weirdness. It is going to be exactly that. If you are returning, welcome back, and thank you so much for finding something here worth returning to. Absolutely love having you, and it most certainly wouldn't be the same without you. As always, your perception is your responsibility, so please use your discernment. Only take what resonates, leave the rest for whoever it's for. Keep in mind it's a collective message, so every little thing may or may not resonate with you in your specific situation, alright? And so, with that out of the way, let's just dive on into it. I know it's been a little bit since I uploaded a video. I had some recorded. I still have them set back for when I feel like it's the right time to actually post them, but something was telling me to wait, so I waited. I went ahead and pulled from my hand-drawn oracle deck these guys here before I pressed record. I wanted to get just like a base level feel for what the reading was going to be about, and we have Awakening of the Divine Feminine and Starseed or Blood of the Stars. That's this here. So that tells me that some of you are stepping further into your feminine polarity, maturing, awakening, finding her place, not just within you, but outside of you too. Ways that feminine energy ripples outward, right? And then with the starseed and the blood of the stars, many of you might be noticing an influx in strange synchronicities, things that are happening around you, the way that reality and matter is responding to you specifically. We'll get further into that, but that's what those are there for. Alright, so the first card that came out was this one, and it fell on the floor, so I don't know which direction to take it in, so I am going to put it back. But it's Living by Your Wits and Illicit Earnings and Eloquence, and that's card number 50. So 5 being there. Change is on the way, alright? Change that's going to ripple outward, okay? Progress. It's going to bring about progress, and it's going to be needed, alright? So, a lot of people get intimidated by that, and I used to with the whole number 5 thing. Because in my past, usually those big changes were usually something what I perceived as negative at the time. But, you know, wisdom has shown me that it's not always like that. And that a lot of the time it's actually something really good. And lately, it's like I've experienced all the bad shit. So these big changes are actually really good things. And I'm getting that that's the case for most of you in this collective. Alright, we have immorality. Alright, I'm getting that, especially with it coming out next to the Awakening of the Divine Feminine, okay, feminine energy, starting to notice the gaze of, like, others and how, I don't know, how you can feel into another's intentions for you. The immorality hidden beneath the guise of like chivalry or kindness or acts of service or whatever, you know. And if you're a female, then of course you understand this inherently through experience. But if you're a male, you might be noticing this because, you know, as your feminine polarity within yourself is awakening to the ways that women, females, feminine energy has been exploited and you know, used in the wrong ways. And then we have divine comfort, and that's over here with the starseed, blood of the stars, okay? A lot of the synchronicities and strange happenings around you, they're being sent to you as a kind of message of comfort, like we recognize you, we remember you too, and that you're on the right track. It's not anything that's meant to scare you, because sometimes, it can be a bit freaky having like lights flickering at weird times, or seeing orbs, or just noticing like strange energetic shifts. And you might be noticing that your perception, when it comes to how you perceive others and like the energetic exchange between people, usually that's something that happens in the unseen, right? But I'm getting something about your perception expanding to where like you can see in real time the way that energy is interacting between individuals in real time. It's like a whole reality playing out beneath the surface of things. And that I could see where that could be a bit freaky to witness, depending on how it's showing up for you. We have clemency on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so for some of you, things that you feel like you've done in your past that, or even in your present, right? Ooh, interesting. I'm getting something about with the feminine portion of the collective, things that you've had to do out of survival, stuff like that. Could be, I don't judge, alright, no judgment, but it could be what people would call immoral acts, right? But if you're a woman, you understand how, sometimes like many people get into committed relationships and everything, and you think you know someone, and next thing you know, you're in a situation where someone's treating you like a live-in prostitute or something, where any type of care or consideration shown toward you is only granted to you when you're doing things that appease a man's flesh. So that's what I was getting with that, with the clemency there. Like, quit getting so hung up thinking that because you're not wanting to completely disrupt, because I'm getting a lot of you have made a lot of progress working towards your independence, right? I'm getting something about some of you might be getting hung up on thinking, well, I'm still having to engage with this individual. Is that blocking my path? And like, if I act too soon on something, then it's going to disrupt everything that I've worked toward thus far. You're being granted, like, it's clemency. Like, it's okay. It's not being held against you kind of thing. That was for somebody out there. That was a mouthful, but it was for somebody. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to pull a few cards, and then I'm going to get out the jar of weirdness, and we're going to see what it has to say. It's been a minute since I pulled out the jar of weirdness, and it's been calling to me lately, so we gonna see. Now I might pull some letter tiles too. Alrighty, so tell us about this immorality with the awakening of the divine feminine, please. Ooh, okay, so I'm getting this also with the feminine polarity, okay, and we're going to be talking in terms of the subconscious, the imagination, alright, intuition, alright, this applies to males as well, because you also embody feminine energy, alright. If you've noticed that, you've been experiencing a lot of erotic fantasies, or there's like this blooming sexuality of the feminine aspect, okay, and this is deeply in the subconscious, in the imagination, right? There's some archetype or something that's trying to take form, take shape, all right, and some of you are wondering if, some of the things your subconscious and imagination are mustering up might be seeing like, am I supposed to be thinking like that? Is that too much? Is that too far? Like, don't worry about it. However, these archetypes and stuff familiarize themselves with you, as long as you're comfortable with it. Explore that. It's really healthy, and make sure that, you're staying in honest, authentic communication with yourself regarding that, okay? Ooh, black cat. Fortune meets opportunity. Ooh, that's intriguing. Speaking of, the subconscious, because it's like reaching this this state of like maturing, right? Like a coming of age. And we've talked about this before a few readings back. It's like the subconscious, the imagination has gone from this wide-eyed, innocent little girl in the mind of itself, okay? Because we all know that the psyche, the deep subconscious and imagination has been intentionally repressed, right? Everybody focuses more so on the forward mind and rationalizing, using logic to solve everything. So you have this, think of it like you have this beautiful, irresistible, feminine, right? She's gorgeous, she's everything. And you have these masculine energies surrounding her, keeping her ignorant, keeping her naive so they can take advantage of her. And she's never really got to, experience herself, what she really wants. It's always been what they want, what they impose on her, what they tell her to want, what they tell her she's allowed to have, what they tell her she's allowed to feel, whatever. But now she's been stepping into this sense of herself, right? And discovering her own identity, and with that is coming like this maturing, right? And she's starting to decide for herself what she truly wants, and out of the masculine energies that surround her, okay? So it's like, you can parallel that with like the mindset that you hold and how it balances out with your imagination and your subconscious, right? Because the mind is masculine. And so if you found that, your mind and your imagination are actually playing well together, rather than your mind saying, well, that's just impossible, or just like with this immorality thing, you shouldn't think like that, that's too dirty, or that's not right, that's too taboo, or whatever. Your mind is being more playful about it, right? Engaging with your subconscious and your imagination in ways that, help keep it grounded, so, what you dream of and everything like that doesn't leave you feeling like you need to escape in order to experience it, but something where it's like bridging how you can bring that magic and wonder into your everyday experience, if I'm making sense. We have Owl, Wise Seeing, Wise Action, over here with Divine Comfort and the Starseed, Blood of the Stars, and on the bottom of the deck is Invisibility and Authenticity. I don't know why I was struggling to say that, but for some reason it was a mouthful. Anywho, with this Divine Comfort, like I was talking about, in correlation with, how your mind is engaging with your subconscious and your imagination, right? There's like a lot of Eros energy here. Your mind becoming, it's more than infatuation with the imagination, because the mind's always been infatuated. What the fuck? Infatuated by the wonder and whimsy of the imagination, of the subconscious. It's been like the mind's muse for creative endeavors, right? Things that we wish we could see, things that we wish we could do that we're told are impossible. The mind loves to use the imagination as somewhere to escape. But again, like I was saying, in relationships where to have any emotional intimacy, a lot of women have to pay for that with their body. And once they block access to like sexual whatever, there's someone, stop showing them, just basic fucking consideration or recognition for the fact that they have feelings and shit. Anyways, it's the same kind of thing here with this Divine Comfort. The mind opening up and expanding its limits, what it used to limit itself in. It's like this conformity box, right? Because the mind is brilliant. And as you've expanded your perception, you've allowed yourself to kind of absorb this ancient knowledge, this ancient wisdom, this ancient understanding that feels like it comes from the stars, right? Because it's already in your blood. It's that the cosmic residue that lingers in our blood, in our bones, in the essence of our being. And it's starting to make its way into the mind and work its way into our system, okay? And in that, it's bringing this divine comfort to the divine feminine that's rising, because she's starting to understand that she serves just as much of a significant purpose as the masculine aspect, as the logical mind, right? That she's not just somewhere for the mind to escape to. She's not just something to be used. Okay? And for some of you, it's interesting. And I'm getting something like, for some of you, it's inverted. There's a collective where there's been this inversion, okay? So, it's like the mind in some, this is strange. I'm trying to get it out right, so just bear with me. The mind is actually on a feminine polarity, and the imagination and subconscious is a masculine polarity. Okay? I mean, that it's like a certain part of the collective. So for some of you, this doesn't apply, but this might confirm a lot for a select few of you. Like, say if you're a feminine, right? Like, you're a woman, biological female, and like your imagination has always expressed itself, like in your mind's eye, it has, like when you think of, if your imagination, if your subconscious had a form, it takes on, it's trying to present itself as masculine, right? And you may have always been a very intellectual, very highly intelligent woman. Like, just inherently. And this inversion has something to do with this stardust in the blood. It's like something about a bloodline, and you've held like remnants of the cosmos, and like through generations, it's like this magnetic pull inside of you that's been through lifetimes pulling in and drawing in parts of itself, right, that had been scattered. And in this lifetime, enough of it has come together, and there's this remembrance that's surfacing, like, oh, I remember you, I know this. I don't know how I know it, but I know this. There's something about that. That's for someone out there, okay? But the wise seeing, wise action is, your mind stepping up and stepping in for the imagination in a way that is honoring its tenderness, its sensitivity, right? And for those of you who are inverted, it's honoring the ferocity, the more primal nature of that masculine inverted aspect of self, okay? And wise seeing, wise action. So you're able to start identifying when the imagination and the subconscious are veering more toward a direction to where it's going to seep into that escapism type of thing, and you're acting accordingly, and you're doing a really fucking good job at it. You're not beating it down saying, well, that's fucking impossible, you need to stop, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, well, let's reframe it this way. You're not taking away the wonder and the whimsy or the possibility of something that was once thought to be impossible. You're just saying, hey, let's just remember that just because we can't see something yet, or just because something feels intensely that it's this or that, let's try not to label it, because remember the way that, reality and matter and everything is working. If we try to label something or lock it in to be this, it has to be this too soon, it could end up hurting us later, kind of thing. I'm hoping that makes sense. There's a lot of very deep symbolism in what I'm picking up on, and so trying to convey it in a way where it's going to land correctly in the hearts of those who it's meant for, you know. Anyway, I'm going to wet my whistle. Hold on for a second. It's so good. Whew. Alright, what about this fortune meets opportunity here? With awakening of the divine... awakening of the divine feminine with immorality. Getting something about something you thought may have been immoral in regard to how you relate to and communicate with your subconscious, be you in an inverted state or not. Having an opportunity to experience that in some way and being able to see that it's not as taboo or unauthorized as you may have thought it to be. Okay? We have security guard. Patrol keeper, watchman, service provider, right? Ooh. Okay, so that that aspect of yourself may have had very strong and firm boundaries, okay? Not wanting to take advantage of what the subconscious is wanting to explore, right? Like, not wanting to blur lines, not wanting to, you know, it'd be like a minor trying to come on to someone who's an adult, and it's like, you're not ready for that. Like, hard line, no. But with this maturing, this blossoming, this coming into self, coming in, you know, this aspect of self has watched you grow up and has watched you come into yourself, and it's like, you know, feelings are there, and they're valid, okay? And it's going to be like less of this security guard energy, right? What was once so guarded is not going to be so guarded. This is making sense for somebody. I know it is. I can feel it. So I'm going to just continue. Alright, for divine comfort, blood of the stars, wise seeing, wise action, we have challenger. Seeker of adventures, courage, challenge, and goal, right? So, again, less of this guarded energy as where this was, for a while it may have been confusing, okay, for the feminine or inverted subconscious aspect to understand why there was this resistance, right? Because the connection had always been there, like kind of simmering beneath the surface of things. And so it's like, you know, we both know that this energy's here. And you can externalize this if you need to, okay? If this is something that's playing out externally, obviously, you could apply it there. But I like to apply everything internally first, because the external is a reflection of what's going on internally. So, there may have been, like, it may have hurt to dream, to even entertain, things that you want really bad, that you crave, those secret desires, those deepest fantasies, whatever, because this aspect of self was trying to protect that part, okay, from diving in headfirst into something it may not be prepared for. And with this coming of age, right? Being able to go toe-to-toe with this aspect and say, like, no, this is really how I feel, and I am aware of my emotions, and I'm not ignorant, I'm not too naive to, I don't need you labeling it for me, you know, just because you're intellectual and logical doesn't mean that I am not. Like, you're not going to define my emotions for me. You're not going to tell me what I feel and dictate to me, because my job is to feel, and I can sense how you feel about me too. And in this challenging thing, wise seeing, wise action, it's like that, that logical part was like, well, damn. All right. Like, you know, it's kind of sexy. Like, I see you, like, you really are about your shit. It's not just some immoral fantasy that you're trying to act out on a whim. Like you know how you feel, and you know why you feeling how you feel, and you can obviously see straight through me and see how I'm feeling, and you know, there could have been a back and forth between those parts of self where, you know, it had to be, you had to feel it out, right? And that logical aspect is taking wise action to take a step back and, you know, really hear that subconscious aspect out and honor that maturing. That's a lot at once. We have bartender, master of libation, small talker, alleviator with clown, and civil servant. There was another one hiding there. And musician, interesting. So, jester of laughter, comedy, mask performer, guardian of public good, public official, administrative duty. Okay, I see what this is. Yeah, with the wise seeing and wise action, you know, the subconscious is really good at picking up on feelings, and a lot of times in a wounded state, it can use that as a means to get what it wants, because it can read emotion, right? And it can kind of use that as a back door to get what it wants in a moment without even taking time to consider, is this really what I need? No, it's what I fucking want, and I want it now. Okay, that's from operating in past thinking, because obviously this maturing has brought you out of this. But the way that the logical mind saw it was, it's obvious that, you know, there was a performance being put on to appease this logical side of things. And it's like, you know, I can see through you, all right? And again, this is another sort of role where it was more of this, like, guardian, this security guard, this, what do you call it? I don't know the word. But it was still taking on this role, like it's some type of gatekeeper, okay? That it has an official title, that it can't have personal interaction with you, keeping it strictly intellectual, observing how the subconscious is growing and blah, 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 and then that's it. But through this, it's like, you know what, it's starting to see this, like, musician, the composer of harmony, creation, passion, soulful sound, and celebration. It's like, holy shit, the thing has happened. The thing that, you know, we've been looking out for to happen has actually fucking happened. Like, she's growing, or he is growing, maturing, and, this, oh shit, we have lover at the bottom of the deck. Lover, love, romance, reproduction, and infinity. So it's like this, this recognition is starting to really kick off, because what subconscious is doing, it's not acting out a role that it thinks that, because the subconscious is always going to see the intellectual mind as godlike, right? Or you can reverse it depending on, you know, whether or not the inverted comparison applies to you, where the logical mind could view the imagination and subconscious as a godlike being, right? Because of how big and vast it seems in comparison to itself, right? And so you can understand why there was this performance that was being put on to be like, am I good enough for you now? Am I good enough for you now? Am I good enough for you now? If I'm this and I'm that and I'm will that be enough? And it's like, well, if it's not real, if it's not legitimate, it doesn't matter how well you're trying to tell me that. Because I'm getting something about using someone trying to find the right words to, like, intellectually convey that they're ready for something, right? Because they're speaking to another intellectual. But it's something about expressing in an authentic way, the subconscious, the imagination, expressing itself in an authentic way to the logical aspect of self. How it's perceiving everything, how it perceives itself, how it perceives its purpose, right? And it's stirring something in this rigid archetype, right? Where it's shaking it out of this watchman role, this patrolling watcher type, and shaking it into something else. I wonder where this is going, though. We're gonna get the jar of weirdness out and see. Because this is what's weird about it. Okay, this civil servant, security guard archetype, right? Seems to have this weird association with something immoral. Like, I don't know if it triggers something in the subconscious, alright, that's like this taboo thing, because it's off limits. Like, it's that one thing that you were told you can't have, kind of thing. And, reason being is because, like, the energy I'm picking up on, it's very, like, it's like a predator. It's not gentle. It's not warm and cuddly. It has sharp edges that cut. And it doesn't feel empathy when it cuts you. It's like, well, you knew what this was, and it, for the subconscious and imagination aspect, that's so harsh, and it's like, how can you be so cruel, so callous? Like, I know you're my friend, and you don't even care that you've hurt me. Like, you don't even try to consider that I love you. And it's because this archetype has been stuck in this role, in this position for so long, that it had been deprived of this tenderness. And as this tenderness has matured, because this rigid archetype is able to see that it's authentic, it's genuine. Okay, it's like, let down some kind of wall within it. And it's been deprived of tenderness, of softness for so long. And it's like the subconscious, the imagination is like, or reverse the roles, of course, like I said, depending on the inverted thing resonates or not. I feel like I have to over clarify shit. But it's like seeing this jagged, sharp, dangerous thing and being like, that must be so heavy for you. Let me help you with that. And like showing it true, genuine kindness and tenderness. And it's just like just melts this rigid archetype, because it's just, it finds that it absolutely adores forehead kisses and cuddles and sweet nothings being whispered, and it enjoys these truly deep, meaningful interactions, right? And but the thing is it hasn't been in a position where it's had to learn anything. And in that, it's created this rigidity where it's almost like harsh pride. Like, don't think that you know me. Don't think that you can figure me out. Don't think that, it's very strange. But it's like this tenderness is melting the ice, because this rigid archetype is finding itself being more mindful of the way it communicates with the softer aspect, and actually considering, like, because it loves the tenderness, it loves the sweetness, it loves everything. about this softer aspect, and the softer aspect loves everything about this sharper aspect. And it's like when they come together, they fully complement each other, not because they weren't enough separately, but because together, I mean, it's just like starlight in the night sky. Like, stars shine all the time, but only in the night sky do they really shine. And only then, when the stars are shining, can you really appreciate the night sky. It's not just a blanket of black. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, let's get the jar of weirdness going. I went off on a tangent. So I'm going to do my best to pull it out in the order that I yanked it out with. So if you're not familiar with the jar of weirdness, you'll see. Okay. Try to keep it just like that. Alright, we have this little rogue figure here, which this is representative of an internal aspect. Okay. There's another one like it in the jar that looks just like it, but it's holding flowers. And I always associate this one with a sharper internal aspect, and then the other one is the counterpart to it, the counterbalance to it, that holding the flowers that's softer. Okay? And then we have your essence. So it's got its hand up like this, and it's like, your essence. So there's something about your essence. Guessing, and we have this teacup here, okay, in a saucer, so it's like an empty cup. So it's like your essence is guessing what it can pour itself into, right, to give it meaning and purpose. Like, it doesn't want to pour into a cup that's broken, cracked, whatever. Like, it wants to pour itself into something nice. Okay, you have taste. Your essence has good taste. Something about Michigan J. Frog, okay? I don't know if anybody remembers those cartoons where the guy goes and, like, they tear down this old world building, right? It's, like, got some cryptic-ass Tartarian shit embedded in there. But anyway, there's this box, and in it is, like, either a check or a deed or something that's worth a lot of money, but there's also this frog. And it's really weird that the damn thing's even alive. But anyway, of course, the first thing that the individual who finds it takes notice of is what is worth money. And so they take the box and they try to keep it for themselves. And the frog ends up singing that, hello my baby, hello my honey, hello my ragtime gal. And he has like the top hat and the cane, and he does this whole dance. This guy gets the idea that he's going to exploit this frog, right? Like, be a sideshow something. But every time he takes it in front of someone, it doesn't do anything. It just goes, burr, burr. It just croaks. And everybody starts to think he's crazy. And then he starts to think he's crazy. And by the end of the episode, the guy's in an asylum. It's absolutely wild. But that's the Michigan J. Frog reference, is something magnificent having been held for a very long time and only recently discovered. And if it's not handled correctly, it has the tendency to corrupt what is holding it. If they attempt to exploit it. So take that as you will. Oh, and then we have this other aspect here. The one with the flowers. This is the other one I was talking about. Alright, so it could be that these two are, like I was talking about, these two are trying to figure each other out. Like, how do I pour into your cup, and how do you pour into my cup, and how do we do this without going completely batshit crazy? Because this is something that's happening internally. It's not something that's happened externally yet. For some of you, you might feel as if there might be a person outside of yourself that is like this cup. They hold the essence of that, the reflection of that internal component, right? But all the stuff that's coming out about how what you pour into them is being received, it doesn't seem as if it's an authentic, like, you might be wondering if they have just been trying to play the role of this archetype, right? Because what I'm getting here is it hasn't emerged in the external yet. It's still in an essential form. And it's like guessing what form to take, like the shape of the cup. You remember what I said about when you visualize your imagination, your subconscious embodied as a being? What does it look like to you, right? And how does everything, every physical attribute reflect something, an aspect, the essence of that whole archetype? Like, I hope I'm making sense anyway. We have a surprise, missing. We have a tree in winter or fall here because there's still some pieces falling, like all the leaves haven't fallen yet. So think about transformation. I don't know. That's literally the word that came out. I don't know. We have quality work. And then shine. Oh shit. Remember I was talking about with the stars and like that whole metaphor with the stars in the night sky, and how the darkness of the sky helps the stars shine, and by the stars shining, it helps really like reveal the depth of that darkness. Okay. There's a surprise coming in regard to this. Because there's a part of you that feels like it's been withering away. Noticing that something's missing, and it's this essence in this cup, right? It's something about like the cup has been formed, it's been shaped. That part of you knows how it wants to pour into it. It knows all the substance, the meaning, the depth, all of it is there. Okay, but there's something about this I don't know, and then quality work. It's time to shine. Like, you letting go of the fact that you don't know yet, and being okay with that, and still pouring into this connection regardless, because that's what this Michigan J Frog thing represents, is like trusting that you have this amazing something, regardless if you can show it to anyone else yet or not. You know that this magical ass frog will sing and dance for you. But you're getting yourself all worked up and driving yourself crazy trying to show it to somebody else. Missing the whole point of you literally have a dancing, singing frog in front of you. Like, does it really fucking matter at that point whether anyone else, like, come on. And that's the quality work. Then we have the Three of Pentacles. So this, like, teamwork, working together, collaboration, right? Glow. Shine and glow. See, I'm loving this. This is great. Apple. Ooh. Okay. Then we have this boar. And he has on a hat, a top hat, and a monocle, okay? You ever thought, when they roast, this just came into my mind, so I'm mentioning it. When they roast a pig, they always shove an apple in its mouth. It could be relevant. That's what the word says. I don't know if you can see it. It's a thing. Come here, you little shit. I don't know if you can see it. There was a key with a clock on it. Hold on, let me see. It fell in the fucking floor. Come here. Okay. It's this. See what I was saying? Like, the key that unlocks something, that's the key. That unlocks this timing. It's like divine timing, right? It's like giving something enough time to cook, enough time for something to like season, enough time for something to become. And that's like this feminine, this divine feminine awakening, despite all these attempts for all these masculines that are already surrounding her externally. she's following the guidance of the one that's been within her this whole time. And like remembering, this is very deep. This isn't going to resonate for everybody. This is for those who have done some very deep inner work, integrating, you know, shadow and... Anywho, we have dragon. Alright. So this key, it's time to unlock something. That's the key. This timing of this dragon. And then we have each. Flip over. Okay. Hour. Like yours, mine, and ours. Hour. Oh, that's weird because that could also be like hour. Like an hour on the clock. And then the key thing. Anyway. I'm just... Whatever comes up, comes out. So... Ownership. Ooh, okay. So that's like the Three of Pentacles. Like, this was a collaborative effort, okay? And so it's like that whole exploitation thing. Like, this is mine. It belongs to me. Because in that, if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and just look up Michigan J Frog cartoon. And just watch it. And you'll see what I mean about the way this guy holds on to this box. And he's like, it's mine. Anyway. Alright, and then we have the, it's a shell, but it's like a spiral. Okay. And then we have wrap up. I'm covering part of the word because it's too small to try to hold up and like whatever. Wrap up, and then a hornet. Bottom. Ooh, okay, hold on. Slow down. And then we have this goat, and he has a cane. Okay. Ow. I bumped my elbow. And then this photo printer, right? Like it's a digital photo printer. Okay, so it's like seeing the image of something. Alright. It could have to do with like if somebody had once seen something ancient as being like old or something like that. Like being mindful of like the image that'll come forth. That's just a part of it. But anyways, it's like understanding that when this happens, you are both a part of each other. I'm getting something, it's so much like a symbiotic relationship. And I've mentioned this before because it's like this intimate relationship between the host and the symbiote. And the symbiote pays close attention to what form, what sensation, and everything. And it's been watching like this watchman energy, like this, and this official, this administrative duty, like documenting what this form, what this sensation, what this and that evokes in the host. That is most complementary to the host without being damaging, without being destructive, without causing it harm, okay? Because it's like the ownership, it's ours. Like, there is no you or me without us. Okay? Because it's like if something happens to the symbiote, the host dies. If something happens to the host, the symbiote dies. So it's been this whole thing of finding this balance, right? So that this could come into form. But before form can even come into being, it has to have substance. It has to have meaning. It has to have purpose. It has to have all this stuff. The existential, and even before it reaches existential, the essential components that make it... It's like the blueprint, right? The blueprint for what it's going to become. What is it going to be? How is it going to fit into all, like, the whole thing? And this could be here, holy shit. And it's like I said, this thing, it's ancient and it's powerful. It's a predator. It's like this, I'm getting something about like this cosmic predator. And it was funny because when I was first getting that, it was like I was imagining like this dragon, right? And then the word dragon came out. And this whole thing of like spiraling on how to wrap up this essence, how to wrap it up into a form, right? And the stinger here, like it's like usually a bee isn't going to sting you unless like you put your hand over it, like you try to block it in, just like with a spider, you know, you try to trap it in and then it bites or it stings. Like I said, this archetype or whatever is sharp, okay? And so it's like trying to get to the bottom of what in this symbiote what rises in it, what the softer aspect moves in it that triggers the sharp, like the sword, that's what I just saw it as like a sword quickly, like, and it's like, what I'm getting is like the visual of a heart, and there's like this sword, and it just, but it's like the sword has been lodged there. Like it's been stuck there to keep it from hemorrhaging or something. But it was never meant to be that. It was never meant to like stop it from hemorrhaging, but it just happened to be that way. And that's why like if I move from this spot, you're gonna die and I'm gonna die because your heart is going to bleed out. So there had to be like this healing, and it's like slowly pulling the sword out of this heart. And any blood that comes out is like bloodletting, like it holds poison, it holds something negative or whatever. And this heart starts to heal as the sword is slowly pulled out, and it's a very delicate process, and it has to be done just right. It has to be very balanced, very focused. It's like from the bottom of my heart, the bottom of my heart. Anyway, horns could be significant here. Okay, as far as an image goes, but this, you see, this also has like a bunch of flowers too. Like this is softness, right? And here's this goat thing, and he's like turned away from the flowers. Like he didn't know how to handle softness. He didn't know. But it's like he finds that he really likes flowers. He really likes the soft sweetness. Old cosmic predator's got a sweet tooth. It's kind of precious, though. Or I'm just really fucked up. Both could be true. Alright, so we have, this is going to be the last pull, because what? I'm at 52 minutes. Me. Pressure tactics. The cloud. He will come on a cloud, I thought. The Empress. In something. In the bag. Here's the bag. Looks. Like literally the word looks. L-O-O-K-S. We have an eye. This is the left eye. No. Again. And then we have the word more. And then this rope with two latches at the end, like hiking or whatever, like, to me this represents like entanglement. This cord that's waiting to be attached from one point and to another, like anchoring someone. It's like I said, that the mind is able to do with the imagination, to be able to anchor it properly. Then we have the eye, E-Y-E-I, smaller. So the big eye and the smaller eye, maybe. And then we have this cat playing a fiddle for these rats. Remember I said about this thing is like a predator. It's like a cosmic predator. So it could be that like there was pressure put on this Empress energy, right, to cloud her mind in regard to something she holds in this bag, in herself, this symbiote, right? To try to make it look more like it's something that's going to have her entangled or trapping because it has eye and smaller, and then this cat playing the fiddle for these rats, and these rats are apparently much smaller than this cat. Okay, so it could also be there could be a size difference here between like physical size. Okay, but there's something about the smaller one finding comfort in the larger, more intimidating size of the other because it's like about protection and safety. Okay, it gives them a safe place to be able to open and bloom without feeling like they're going to be harmed. See, all of this stuff, it's weird because it's like all these contradictions that they seem contradictory, but the meaning that has revealed itself and has just naturally come of this connection, it balances it out in such a beautiful way where these seemingly opposing things work so well together. Someone tried to like put pressure on the Empress to go ahead and choose something external because of this these thoughts that they placed in her mind about something she already held. Okay, and then we have the Six of Pentacles, so being given something by this predator, this cat playing for the rats, right? Gives me sending it in a book. So I'm getting something about you're going to read a book or something, and don't worry about like what genre it is. I'm being told like just you're going to read something and it's going to click. Like there's a message. It's like you're going to be drawn to some type of book or you recently have or something, and it's already starting to eerily align with something, and you're like, that's fucking impossible. But that resistance is something that's been set into your mind to make you question or doubt this connection that is very valid, very real to you. Your emotions and everything are just as real as anything outside of yourself, but there's been this notion that because you can't see something with your eyes, the big eye, little eye, I get it. Just because you can't see something with the eye that faces outward doesn't mean that everything that you see and whatever, like, within yourself isn't just as real. Like, emotions don't lie. They are real. And they're responding to something real. And it's just letting go of this notion that this whole I don't know thing. Okay, because you notice this pig here with the monocle, he's got his right eye covered, and then there was the left eye here. He has his right eye, like a magnifying lens over his right eye. Okay, he sees something that he's trying to prey on, like in this feminine energy, and he's the one that getting that put the apple, the idea, into the head as a preemptive something so that this symbiote wouldn't reawaken, because it's like symbolic of the rats, like a plague, right? I just saw, or anyways, it's like symbolic of like a plague and an infection or something, as where this symbiote is something that works with the host. This virus is like parasitic, it feeds. Interesting. And then we have the platypus, the duck-billed platypus. A little bit of everything, all balanced out into this perfect creature that's highly adaptive, strange, unique. Wow, that's been very interesting. And it's like learning the creative power, the creative purpose of the imagination and the role it was always supposed to play in this. And what self-integration is truly about, why it's so important, why it's so significant, why we have the urge to integrate to begin with. It's because it's a part of creation, it's a part, and it's co-creation, like this, our ownership, right? It's ours, not yours, not mine, it's ours. We created this. And, respecting the process and knowing everything that goes into it, because understanding that the form that it takes is important, that this form reflects appropriately, even if it looks different, even if it looks bizarre, even if it looks unfamiliar and kind of scary. It's important that every attribute of it holds a symbolic meaning for something it holds within, because there's that silent language there. Remember what I said about some of you are starting to see the way that energy interacts, like beneath the surface, right? It's like a whole reality playing out beneath the surface of things. It's like that. But it's like becoming physical in this specific sense. Not every energetic interaction, but in way of everything that's beneath the surface finding a place to exist, with a symbolic interpretation upon the external reflection of it. So if someone sees horns on something, like just using, because something came up about horns, right? So they see something that has horns, or like antlers or something. Antlers are symbolic of like ancient roots, ancestry, things like that. Horns are typically symbolic of like power, virility, but it's what it means to you. Fuck what it means to anyone else, and no disrespect to the ancestors. Fuck what it meant to them, even. Because this isn't about them. It's about you and this one that you're co-creating this with. Because whatever it is you hold in you, it's this part of something that isn't meant to be described. That through lifetimes, like, you've gathered enough pieces of it to where it's starting to remember itself, and it shares a gift of creation, shares this gift. But yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope it helps.